Morning everyone, welcome to Brave the Adventures with just me, Hayley, today. No Rob for the opening weekend of Alton Towers, sadly due to his injury. So instead, I bought a small one. I bought Ethan. And today, it's Sunday, it's the first weekend of Alton Towers opening weekend. Not great operations yesterday, so I'm quite glad that we swapped out and came on a Sunday today. And we just arrived a little bit later, about 12 o'clock, so we're going to go for late night riding today, see what we can get done. And because it's just me and Ethan, I thought we'd see if we could find out really what is left for us as a under 1.4 rider, as Ethan is. So no opportunities for us to go on the big coasters today, and also not to ride the new ride Toxicator, but we are going to go over and have a look at that because it does look incredible, especially the theming. But we're going to focus on what we can get done today as an adult with somebody accompanying them as a 1.2 rider, which doesn't have a huge amount of opportunity for us. cbeebies land a little bit too young, Blade is now gone, so we're going to see what's left and see if we can answer that question of what is there really for the riders between the ages of about 8 and 11. So we're going to see what we can get on. So heading straight down to the monorail. Fantastic to turn up a bit later in the day when there's park riding till 8, because it means we can walk straight onto the monorail. And even though we don't have Rob with us today, he's going to hopefully provide us some of the more technical information for our journey to Alton Towers today. Right, and we're in and walking down Tower Street. Definitely the better day to come, just in terms of getting through operations. I think with it being Fort Park Pass day today, it is definitely quiet here at Towers, so something to think about if you're planning for opening weekend in 2026. Queues, I'm just going to post those on this video just so you can see a snapshot of the queues at around 1 o'clock on opening Sunday. Not too bad, with everything up and running pretty well at the moment, apart from Oblivion and 13, which are currently down. So standard Merlin operations, but certainly better than it was yesterday. Great to see the frogs back up and running today. I think they had some downtime yesterday from what I was seeing, so it's really good to see them, and loving the addition of these Toxicator bottles in the pond as well. So some excellent theming. Definitely does look like we've had a good paint job here. Everything's looking really clean and great. And I think me and Ethan are debating where to go. Where is the first ride that you think we should go today? Spinball Whizzer, yeah, Spinball Whizzer, sitting at 45 minutes. We've not ridden this yet since it's had a single rider queue, so I think that's where we're going to head first and just try out what that single rider queue looks like. So just completed our single rider on Spinball Whizzer. It was about 30-35 minute wait, so about 10 minutes saved by riding single rider. Obviously today it's a weekend, so there are a lot of families of 4 and groups of 2, so that did slow down the single rider operations. But really great operations on Spinball Whizzer today, running really well, no downtime at all. Sometimes when it's cold like it is today, it can get stuck but it definitely didn't today, and that single rider queue is definitely a really good addition, and really well done to the ops staff here who were negotiating the full line queue, the ride access pass and the single rider queue really well today. So we're going to venture into cbeebies land. Ethan's a little bit old at 9 for most of the cbeebies rides, but we do want to get a ride on Postman Pat today because, as we know, this area is soon going to be cleared for a new coaster in cbeebies land, which will be fantastic. But I will be a little bit sad to see Postman Pat go because it has been a real staple of both of my boys' childhoods and a ride that they both loved and fallen in love with over the years. But we do like the Octonauts coaster here, and it's currently operating at 20 minutes, which is not too bad for that coaster because it can have really excessive weights. So that's where we're going to head over to next, and really looking great over here in cbeebies land at the minute. There's been lots of paint upgrades, and obviously last year was cbeebies land's birthday, so it looks like they've put a lot of investment into just making this area look really nice again and keeping it lovely and fresh. One of the few rides that Ethan will still entertain in cbeebies land is the Go Jetters, and I always have really bad luck with this ride. It always closes or goes down whenever I'm at the front of the queue. So let's hope that's not going to happen today, because Ethan has declared that this is one of the rides in cbeebies land, along with the Octonauts coaster, that he is prepared to ride and that's not too babyish. It's at a queue time of 10 minutes, which is actually really good. This does get really long queues in the summer. So hopefully, fingers crossed, if it doesn't go down, we'll be able to get on Go Jetters today. We thought we would go for a ride on the Treetop Adventure today, which we haven't done for so long. But it's a really nice way to see the park and the whole of cbeebies land. So we thought we'd come in, wake up the bugs! I haven't ridden this for so long, and I remember it was when it was the squirrel ride, so it's really cool that me and Ethan have got on this today, because it does have quite a long queue normally, but it only took about 20 minutes, so it's nice to just have a little bit of a gentle ride, and nice that Ethan still wants to come on this ride and doesn't see it as too babyish. So it's nice to go on a nice long ride all the way around cbeebies, so you can see that it's had really nice paintwork for this 2025 season, and it's looking beautiful, and the sun is coming out as well, which is excellent news on our visit today in March.
That would be great. I'll see you later.
What do you think they're painting? What sorts of things do you like to paint? The cbeebies bugs help to look after everything that goes on in cbeebies land. I wonder what they'll get up to next.
So we've just completed quite a lot of rides in cbeebies land. The wait times weren't too bad today, which was quite good. Apparently it was much busier in here yesterday, so Sunday obviously is definitely the day to come and do cbeebies land. Obviously there's a lot more rides that as an under 1.4 Ethan could ride in cbeebies land. You can ride everything, but not really kind of age appropriate. So now we're going to head down. We're not going to do Battle Galleons because it's closed today, but that would be another ride that Ethan would be able to get on in this height category. But we're going to head over now to Ethan and mine's absolute favourite, which is the Curse. which he can definitely get on, and even though it's a little bit scary, it's absolutely fine for him. He really enjoys it. So I'm going to go over and see if we can get Emily to play today. Mutiny Bay looking quite quiet today. We're not going to head down to Mutiny Bay just yet. We might get round here later, where obviously you've got the barrels ride and also the rock and tug. Another great area. It's brilliant during the pirate takeover, which is when we normally ride those rides, and then just off down past Mutiny Bay is where you've got the Sea Life Centre as well. So other places where you could spend a fair bit of time if you do fall into this age bracket and size and height bracket that Ethan does of being under 1.4. But we're going to head over to the Curse because it's our absolute favourite. Oh, Sharky's back. It's good to see Shark back at Battle Galleons, even though it's not running today. We do like to see this shark swimming around in the water. Would be a bit chilly today for Battle Galleons, and I think that's probably why it's remained closed this weekend, and for once I'm not going to complain. I do love a water ride, but it is pretty cold today, and with late night riding I don't fancy being soaked. But yeah, really lovely views today. The park is looking absolutely glorious, and the music's all playing, which is just so nice to have this back after a winter of no coasters and theme parks in the UK. We made it, everybody.
Daddy's up this way, baby.
The Curse at Alton Manor is a family dark ride which takes place in the show building of the park's original haunted house, designed by John Wardley, which opened with great acclaim in 1992. The ride received a re-theme as a shooting ride, Jewel, in 2003, which had mixed reviews, and closed again in 2022 for a total new reimagining into the current ride. Using the original Mac system, guests are taken on a haunted journey through the manor and experience state-of-the-art effects which uncover the story of Emily Alton, who just wants to play. Whilst the ride can be a bit scary for younger guests, it really is a family favourite, and when all of the effects are working, the Curse at Alton Manor is one of the best dark rides in the country. To play with Emily, guests must be 0.9 metres or over to ride accompanied, or 1.1 metres or over to ride with an adult.
Ethan, what did we think of Curse today?
Good.
What was working?
Tunnel.
Tunnel was working. All effects working?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good today. And did we walk on? It was excellent. We loved it today. Heading into Forbidden Valley for our first look at Toxicator, which I'm really excited about. Sad that you have to be 1.4 and over 10 years old to get on to Toxicator, so it's not one for Ethan today. And actually, with the removal of Blade, it's actually a bit of a no-go area really, the Forbidden Valley now, because he's unable to ride any of the rides, including Nemesis and including Nemesis Inferno. Sorry, not Nemesis Inferno, Nemesis Subterra, which has actually been on a decent wait all day today, but sadly won't be able to get on that. So it is a little bit sad that this area is off limits really for that age group, because the theming is absolutely incredible. But hopefully now that we've got Toxicator in here, maybe another flat will go in here soon that will appeal and be suitable for that age range, so that it becomes a bit more of an area that the 8 to 11 year old age range can access, which would be fantastic to see.
Toxicator is Alton Towers' newest addition and replaces another Huss topspin attraction, Ripsaw, in the Forbidden Valley area of the park. Themed to the phalanx, this new generation ride certainly looks the part, with awesome theming and an amazing lighting package, so a night ride is a must if you can. With 6 different ride cycles, it is going to be interesting to see if Toxicator is going to be a soaker in the summer, which Ripsaw was known for in its early years. Not surprisingly for such an intense ride, the height limit here is 1.4 metres.
So we can see the Skyride testing today, but it's obviously not going to be up and running until April, as we were told by Merlin before the park opened for this season. So we're going to be hop-footing across the park over the long way over towards 13 to get on that, which is one of 2 of the slightly smaller height restriction coasters, both of which Ethan can ride because they're both 1.2s. So there's 13, and then we'll be going over to Wickerman and to ride the Runaway Mine Train before we finish today. So we have managed to do a full day's park ride, even though we haven't been able to get on obviously any of the bigger coasters today. So it has been really worthwhile. Lots of walking still, so I cannot wait for the Skyride to be back up and running, and this would be essential for Rob to be able to join us at the park. So fingers crossed we'll have that up and running in April so that he can finally brave the adventures with me again, which I cannot wait for.
Hex is closed today and won't be opening with the start of the season until April, which is a shame. It's another ride that you can access from 0.9 metres, so it would have been a good one for Ethan today, and we're sad to have it closed after it opened again in October. Just beyond that, we've also got David Walliams Land, which has also got 3 or 4 rides suitable for this age range.
So heading down to 13, which currently is advertising a 15-minute wait time, which I'm not sure that's going to be right because it hasn't run that low all day, and especially on a Sunday, but it is now coming up to 4:30, so perhaps the park is slightly emptying a little bit. However, Rita is saying 35 minutes, and they've just announced over the tannoy that it's actually 60. So we're in the queue for 13. Really looking forward to this ride, particularly as the sun is going down and it's getting quite chilly and gloomy. Feels like the right time to grab a ride on 13 today. So 13 was a 15-minute queue, 15 minutes straight on. Really great today. I haven't ridden 13 in quite a long time actually, but Ethan does love it, and I'd forgotten how good it is. That middle part is really good fun, and yeah, it's just a great coaster and everything was working really well. Mist was brilliant. It's it's brilliant. It's definitely passed the test of time as 13, and I really enjoyed riding it today, and even more so when it was on 15 minutes. So we're going to head to the Runaway Mine Train, which is a massive family favourite here at Alton Towers. Choo choo. And the park is starting to get a little bit quieter now, particularly around this area. It's brilliant to have these late night rides on opening weekend. It's such a great idea, and I really do hope that Alton Towers will consider doing more of these throughout the season, because it really does make a difference how many rides you can get in on a particularly busy weekend. So we cannot wait to get on Mine Train. It's even better when it runs through the Congo River Rapids Tunnel. That's not opening until April, which is understandable. It is March and it is cold. But yeah, still cannot wait to get on this brilliant ride. And it's worth noting, just whilst we're in the Runaway Mine Train queue, that actually last season they did rise the height restriction on this ride. So you do now have to ride with an adult until you are 1.3 metres, which was a bit of a change. So it's just worth noting that the height restriction is only 1.1 metres, but you will have to ride with an adult until you are 1.3 metres to ride the Runaway Mine Train. Choo choo. So we queued for about 15 minutes for Runaway Mine Train. I absolutely love that ride. The ride operations on that, they need absolute shouting out to today. The people on Ride Ops were absolutely brilliant. They always are on Runaway Mine Train. It is the most fun, enjoyable ride because the Ride Ops just make it so fun. We were on the party train today, weren't we, Ethan? So we were singing the conga and it was absolutely sublime. We really enjoyed it. Ethan, did you enjoy it today? Yeah? Man, a few words today, but really enjoyed it. It was excellent, and yeah, just a huge shout out to those Ride Ups. We love the fact it goes around twice, and it is just brilliant. It's a great first coaster for any young thrill seekers, so we're so glad that it stays here at Alton Towers. And now it's the pinnacle of the day, the absolute ride of dreams for the under 1.4 brigade. It's time to feed the flames at Wicker Man. A 55-minute wait, by far the longest we'll have queued all day today because operations have been so good, but that's okay, we don't mind queuing for Big Bob today. And also what it hopefully means is that by the time we get onto Wicker Man it's probably going to be dark, so we're going to get to actually ride this in the dark, which will be absolutely fantastic. Let's go, Ethan. Over to you, Rob. Tell us about Wicker Man.
Built on the site of the much loved and some would say much missed log flume, Wicker Man opened at the park in 2018. Manufactured by Great Coasters International, this stunning coaster is the first in the world to combine both fire and wood. Passing through the effigy, known colloquially as Big Bob, the ride provides guests with a thrilling and fun experience with excellent theming, including fire effects which are even more stunning at night. Wicker Man was the first wooden roller coaster built in the UK for 20 years and is another John Wardley classic. To be one of the chosen ones, guests need to be at least 1.2 metres tall, making this an excellent family addition to the park.
So we've just come off Wicker Man after queuing for 45 minutes. It wasn't quite dark by the time we got to the front to ride, but that was okay. It was excellent riding it at sunset today in twilight. All the lights around the ride and also around the park as well. Just absolutely have brought this park to life for the first twilight riding tonight, and that's going to carry on every weekend in March and April as well. So a really good opportunity. The park has really cleared out as well, so even though there's still another hour of riding, you could get loads of rides in if you did want to come later on, if you've got that chance to do that. Wicker Man was riding really well today. The mist was all working perfectly. Pre-show was working really well. Can't really fault the operations at Alton Towers today. I think yesterday was a particularly poor opening day, but today couldn't have been more different for us. I think we've had a brilliant day. We've got on so many rides and shown that actually, even with the removal of Blade and even with Hex not being open, you can still manage to have a brilliant day if you are not quite at the 1.4 height to ride Oblivion or Galactica or Smile or any of the big rides. It's time for us to go home and get warm because we're freezing. We thank Rob for coming along and giving us some technical advice, even though he was unable to ride, and it's been brilliant having Ethan as my little riding substitute today for Bravely Adventures. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to drop us a like and a subscribe. We'll be back at Alton Towers in May, hopefully with Rob joining us, and we'll see you soon.